So you may be considering to moving to this beautiful country of tall people and bicycles, but did you truly research the Netherlands and if it's a right fit for you? This video is a list of things that would be great to know before moving to the Netherlands. They have both negative and positive sides, so you can decide for yourself. Hopefully it will give you some directions on deciding if it's a right place to live for you. Or maybe you're just a curious person from the internet who want to learn more about this country. Let's dive into them in no particular order. The Netherlands has the best non-native English speakers in the world. English is everywhere here and you rarely meet someone who doesn't speak English. But don't be mistaken, if you really want to integrate into society or make a Dutch friends, you will must learn Dutch. It's not an English-speaking country at all. The weather in the Netherlands could be not for everyone. There are two main things to consider. There are a lot of wind and there are a lot of rain. Wind is more common into the coastal towns and rain is everywhere else. The wind was really annoying when we've been living in The Hague near the sea. Zwolle has much less wind, but I think it has a little bit more rain and less sunny days. There are positives to Dutch weather as well, but not many people agree with me, but I really like the mild climate in general. It's rarely freezing here. -5 degrees Celsius is quite rare and something extraordinary. But also the hot summers are not that common. Maybe a couple of weeks is really hot, but most of the time it stays below 24 Celsius degrees. Bicycles are huge here. It's a large portion of Dutch culture, and if you don't ride a bike, you're missing out on an amazing way of transportation. And it's indeed a transportation here, not just for sport or leisure. Many people have two bikes, one for sport and one for commuting. I actually recently bought a second bike myself for more sport activities. But even if you don't ride a bike, you will be fine as well. The transportation system is well connected and works pretty good, and even driving a car is a quite enjoyable experience here. Local cuisine could have been more sophisticated, especially with Italy and France right around the corner. Dutch cuisine contains a lot of deep fried things and bread and of course a lot of cheese. I actually secretly think the Dutch cheese is one of the best in the world. Sorry, Italy. So you might see often simple sandwich or butter ham as a part of lunch or even a breakfast. Some people even eat sweets for breakfast, like chocolate sprinkles on the sandwich, or as Dutch call the hagelslag. But Dutch food is convenient and efficient. If food is just a nutritional value for you and not your true passion, you will be happy. Also, eating healthy is quite common here. Supermarkets are excellent and restaurant options are endless. There are no mountains in the Netherlands. There are some in the south, but it's not the mountains you imagine, it's rather hills. The country is literally called low-lying country, and most of the country located below the sea level. This makes this country is excellent for biking or even hiking and walking, but if you're really into the mountains, unfortunately you won't find ones here. But Europe is quite small, so simple train ride and you're in Germany, Switzerland or France with most beautiful mountains in the world. Amsterdam is pretty unique place in the country. It has vast amount of opportunities, it's an IT and international companies hub of Europe, but also it's not really the Netherlands. The first time I visited Amsterdam around 7 years ago, I claimed it to be my favorite city in the entire world. So as you can see, I value it quite high on the world scale. But after seeing more cities around the country, I realized it's actually not the best place here, and it's quite far from being a Dutch city. I think Amsterdam is kind of a bubble of foreigners, people who love Amsterdam, and tourists. I always feel it's a little bit isolated and even a little snobbish at times. But it's just my personal opinion. The government in the Netherlands is actually working. Dutch people often complain about it, but even without deep digging, you may notice that everything is actually works as you expected it should. You rarely get into situations where you just face palming, as I often had in different other countries. Corruption is almost non-existent here, services are convenient and not too bureaucratic, infrastructure and streets looks amazing, the police actually helpful, and digitalization are everywhere. It comes with a high taxes, of course. In the exchange you get a real human rights here, and it's not just a buzzword. Whoever you are, whatever you're doing, you are just welcome here. As long as you don't harm others, of course. Drugs are actually not that common in the Netherlands. Apart from a few streets in the largest cities, You won't see people even smoking anything anywhere. And learning a little bit more of the Dutch people, I realized most of the people are not even interested in this stuff at all. You can of course find anything you want, but it's not that common in the society. I noticed rather opposite, that Dutch people are mostly aiming to the healthy lifestyle, and it's much more common and accepted. Dutch people are quite direct, and they often have a circle of friends that they have since they were kids. Some people say it may lead to issues finding a friends among locals. I think it's a little bit too much of generalization, but there is some truth to that. What I heard from the Dutch people themselves is they are like coconuts. They may appear too direct or cold at times, but when you actually know them better, they can become a really great and supportive friends for life. I never had issues with Dutch people. I think they are extremely supportive, extremely helpful and nice, but I just want to share some experience I heard from other people and other expats. The Netherlands is one of the best countries to have kids. You may heard this already, and I can confirm. So many things are created here with kids in mind. There are many playgrounds, attractions, or even campsites that are created to accommodate kids first and adults second. I started noticing it even more after I moved to a smaller town, to Zwolle. I think it's more common here, and it totally makes sense because how many people have kids here. That's all for me. Hopefully each point will help you to understand what it is like here and maybe decide if this country is actually for you. Most of the points I listed seems like huge upsides for me personally, but I think they may be seen different by others. Ultimately, I think people should live in the country where they feel most comfortable and just enjoy their life. Thankfully, each person wants different things, otherwise we would have been all living in one country. Check my other videos about life in Holland here and here. Have an amazing day and see you in the next video. Doei doei!